In the sprawling archipelago of the Philippines, a quiet but determined transformation is rumbling across its military landscape. This isn't about flashy new fighter jets or imposing naval destroyers, but something far more grounded: the evolution of its armored fighting vehicles. For decades, these steel workhorses have been the backbone of the Philippine Army, navigating dense jungles and urban landscapes. Now, as we stand on the cusp of 2025, these venerable machines are being reborn. This is the story of how old steel is learning new tricks, a tale of upgrades, acquisitions, and strategic shifts, driven by necessity, shaped by regional tensions, funded by renewed commitment to national sovereignty. The story of Philippine armor is one of making the most of what you have. Born from counter-insurgency ops and constrained budgets, the iconic M113 Armored Personnel Carrier, the unique GKN Simba Infantry Fighting Vehicle, not the most advanced globally but reliable and adaptable. Upgrades are more than armor and guns. They represent a fundamental doctrinal shift. AFP moving from internal security to projecting credible deterrence against external threats, armored core at the heart of the pivot, ensuring it continues to have a sharp bite. The M113 Armored Personnel Carrier is, without exaggeration, a global military icon. For the Philippines, it is the undisputed backbone of its mechanized infantry. The country's relationship with this tracked vehicle began in the late 1960s, with initial deliveries of the M113A1 variant from the United States. These vehicles were a significant step up, providing Filipino troops with battlefield mobility and protection that was previously unavailable. Over the decades, the inventory grew substantially, with estimates suggesting that over 100 of these original APCs were in service by the turn of the century. They became a familiar sight in conflict zones, particularly in Mindanao, where their ability to traverse difficult terrain while shielding soldiers from small arms fire proved invaluable. The first major evolutionary leap for the Philippine M113 fleet came in the mid-2010s. Under the AFP Modernization program, a crucial deal was struck with Israeli defense firm Elbit Systems. This project, initiated around 2014, was not just a simple refurbishment. It aimed to fundamentally transform a portion of the aging fleet. The agreement covered the upgrade of 28 M113A1s to the M113A2 standard. This involved significant improvements, including a more powerful diesel engine, enhanced suspension for better mobility, installation of new communication systems. The most visible and potent part of this upgrade was the armament, turning simple battle taxis into credible fighting vehicles. This initial batch from Elbit saw 14 vehicles configured as fire support vehicles armed with a 25mm unmanned turret. Another 4 were converted into infantry fighting vehicles equipped with a remote-controlled 12.7mm machine gun. Their performance in the brutal urban combat of that siege validated the modernization effort, highlighting the critical need for protected firepower. While the M113 is an American classic, the GKN Simba is a uniquely British-Filipino story. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, the AFP identified a need for a wheeled infantry fighting vehicle. It needed better road speed. It needed lower maintenance costs compared to tracked counterparts. This was crucial for rapid deployment across the archipelago's extensive road network. After a competitive bidding process, the British firm GKN Defence was awarded the contract in 1991. The agreement was for the delivery of 150 Simba vehicles. It was one of the largest single purchases of armored vehicles by the Philippines at the time. The initial delivery plan was unique. The first 8 units were manufactured entirely in the United Kingdom and delivered around 1993. The remaining 142 vehicles were supplied in knockdown kit form. The kits were shipped to the Philippines for local assembly. Local assembly was handled by FAME, Filipino Assembly and Machining Enterprises. This fostered local industry expertise and technology transfer. The Simba quickly became a key asset for the Philippine Army's mechanized infantry divisions. It was used for convoy escort, it provided fire support, it carried out reconnaissance missions. The fleet was delivered in several configurations. The most common was the infantry fighting vehicle. It had a one-man turret armed with a 12.7mm heavy machine gun. Many were configured as fire support vehicles with a Belgian-made Cockerill 90mm Mark III cannon. That gave the Army a highly mobile tank buster capability. Other variants included armored recovery vehicles and ambulances, showing the platform's versatility. The upgrade, projected to be completed by 2025, will breathe new life into the aging lion of the Philippine Army. The push to modernize the Philippines' armored fleet is not happening in a vacuum. It is a direct response to a complex and evolving security environment. For decades, the primary mission of the AFP was internal security, focusing on combating insurgencies like the New People's Army and separatist groups in the south. In these asymmetric conflicts, armored vehicles provided crucial protection against ambushes and improvised explosive devices. The brutal urban warfare experienced during the 2017 Battle of Marawi was a stark wake-up call. It demonstrated the existing fleet lacked modern sensors and protected firepower needed to fight in dense, built-up areas, leading to significant casualties. The lessons from Marawi directly fueled the urgency and direction of the M113 and Simba upgrades. The need for better optics, night fighting capabilities, and remotely operated weapon stations became paramount. A gunner exposed in a manual turret is a vulnerable target in urban combat. The upgraded M113S with Elbit-made unmanned turrets and remote weapon systems allow crews to engage while safely inside the armored hull. Beyond internal threats, the strategic calculus has shifted due to rising tensions in the South China Sea. The nation's focus is expanding from internal security to territorial defense. When comparing the upgraded M113A2 and the modernizing Simba, it's essential to understand their distinct roles dictated by their core designs. The M113 is a tracked vehicle. Superior off-road mobility. Muddy jungle rough terrain. Primary role: armored personnel carrier designed to carry an infantry squad up to 11 soldiers into battle under armor. The upgrades, however, have blurred this line. Added 25mm cannons, 12.7mm remote weapon stations. Result: many M113S act as infantry fighting vehicles. The GKN Simba is a 4x4 wheeled vehicle. Key advantage: strategic mobility on roads. It can travel at higher speeds up to 100 km per hour, and for longer distances without heavy transport between islands across provinces. Role: IFV fire support vehicle. Crew of 3 space for about 8 infantrymen. Most powerful variant, 90mm Cockerel cannon serves as a mobile wheeled tank providing powerful anti-armor capability and bunker-busting capability that the 25mm armed M113S cannot match. The modernization of the Philippine military's armored corps extends well beyond its workhorse M113S and Simbas. M113S Simbas. A key component of this expansion is the acquisition of brand new modern platforms designed to fill specific capability gaps. The most significant of these is the Sabra light tank, another landmark deal with Israel's Elbit systems. Finalized in 2021, this project will deliver a mixed fleet of 20 light tanks to the Philippine Army. These are not heavy main battle tanks, but rather a more agile solution perfectly suited for the archipelago's geography. The acquisition marks the return of a dedicated tank capability to the AFP for the first time in decades. The Sabra system is unique and versatile. The order includes 18 tracked light tanks, 2 wheeled light tanks. The tracked version is based on the ASCOD 2 platform. The wheeled version uses the Pandur 2 8x8 chassis. Both variants will be armed with the same powerful 105mm cannon and equipped with Elbit's advanced Torch X battle management system and E-Link software-defined radios. This ensures full interoperability with the upgraded M113S. The first deliveries of these light tanks began in late 2022, and the full fleet is expected to be operational by 2025, forming the armored spearhead of the Army's 1st Tank Battalion of the Armor Division. In addition to the light tanks, the Philippine Army is also enhancing its self-propelled artillery capabilities. A critical acquisition in this domain is the Atmos 2000 or Autonomous Truck-Mounted Howitzer System, also from Elbit Systems. The Army has procured 12 units of this 155mm self-propelled gun. Mounted on a high-mobility truck chassis, the Atmos provides long-range, precision fire support that can be rapidly deployed and repositioned, a doctrine known as shoot and scoot to avoid counter-battery fire. These systems, with a range of up to 41 kilometers, represent a quantum leap in firepower for the Army, and their integration with the new armored vehicles via the shared battle management system creates a truly networked fighting force. The financial engine driving this armored renaissance is the revised AFP Modernization program, backed by significant government funding. Budget allocations for key Philippine armored vehicle projects shown in Philippine pesos. Official reports from the Department of National Defense and state media provide concrete figures. For instance, the M113 upgrade with Elbit systems had a budget of 1.062 billion Philippine pesos, roughly $19 million. That covered upgrades of the initial 28 vehicles and set the standard for future modernization. Ongoing work on the larger M113 fleet falls under subsequent allocations. Horizon 2, Horizon 3 per Republic Act 10349. The acquisition of new platforms carries even larger price tags. The Sabra light tank project is about 9.4 billion pesos, roughly $172 million. This package includes 20 tanks, ammunition, spare parts, extensive crew and maintenance training. The Atmos 2155 contract for 12 units is about 2.4 billion pesos, around $44 million. These figures are often announced publicly by the DND, framed as necessary investments in national security. Official statements tie spending to the evolving security landscape. Defense leaders stress the need for a credible deterrent. After the Sabra signing, a DND spokesperson told PNA these assets are for defending territory and enhancing capability against conventional threats. This rhetoric marks a shift away from purely counter-insurgency framing. As we look toward the horizon beyond 2025, the trajectory of the Philippine Army's armored capability appears set on a path of continued growth and sophistication. The successful integration of the Sabra light tanks Atmos howitzers, the upgraded M113, the Simba fleets will form the bedrock of a new baseline for the country's ground forces. The primary focus post-2025 will likely shift from foundational upgrades to expanding these capabilities and achieving a higher level of networked maturity. The lessons learned from operating these new systems will inform the next phase of acquisitions under the final stages of Horizon 3 and the planning for a potential Horizon 4. Future acquisitions will likely focus on filling the remaining gaps. While the Sabra provides a light tank capability, there is still a need for a modern wheeled 8x8 armored fighting vehicle to eventually replace the aging Simba fleet entirely. The 28-unit Guarani acquisition may serve as a trial run, potentially leading to a larger follow-on order, or a competition for a new wheeled APC or IFV platform. The goal will be to standardize the wheeled fleet on a single modern chassis, to streamline logistics and training, a lesson learned from managing a diverse inventory of legacy vehicles. The steel forged today will be the shield of tomorrow. If this deep dive into the mechanics of military power held your interest, consider joining our community for more insights. Your thoughts and perspectives enrich the conversation, so let us know what you think about this armored evolution in the comments below.